Welcome to another episode of Emotional Nightmares. My name is Tyler.
I'm Nicole.
And on today's episode, we're going to talk a lot about self-awareness and just how do you become self-aware. So I got a special guest with me, a good friend of mine, Benny the Barber, out of Pittsburgh, coming up to speak with us today. So, man, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself to the people?
Yeah, everybody, my name's Ben. I am a barber. I actually work in Bethel Park if you need a haircut. But on my way here, I was thinking a lot about Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, like I mentioned to you guys. Like I'm the quintessential friggin' Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I put anything in me, and drug-wise. So I kind of like when you were talking to me earlier, you were like, you want to start a childhood. And I didn't really know what, but then I remembered like a lot of bullying that happened to me when I was a kid. So, and that kind of shaped my attitude through my teens, I think. So when I was a child, I was bullied by these kids in Fern Court, right? And they tried to take my bike and shit, and I was like the rich kid, but I wasn't. I lived in a house, and they lived in Fern Court. You know what I mean? So, like...
Which is, for people that don't know, it's an apartment complex.
That's what I was just going to ask. Like
we got some guy
projects.
in Wisconsin listening to us.
So...
well, and I come up from Pittsburgh, and they're like, these are our projects. I'm like, this is not.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah. So, that's the projects of Oil City. I grew up right by the high school. So, anyway, you know, like, I got bullied a lot. And, like, you know, I know now that I'm older that trauma affects people different ways, you know. And... as I said earlier to you guys, nothing bad happened to me. I wasn't raped. I wasn't molested. I wish I had something to blame it on. I wish I had a fucking, you know, traumatic experience that changed me to who I was. But I think at the end of the day, I know that I was just very selfish and self-centered and like always wanted what I wanted. So that's what shaped me. But as a child, I was bullied, and I remembered I just wanted people to like me, right? And like, people didn't come to my birthday party when I was a kid, when I was like 7 or some shit. And I remember crying to my mom because like only like 2 people came, and I invited all these people. But anyway, so like, I know that affected me now when I was a child. So like, I would do things growing up, like, I remember like I got into a fight with this kid. Am I allowed to say their names, dude?
You can say their first names.
But anyway, his name's Rusty, right? He did some shit on the school bus.
If they don't mind, you can say
Yeah, well, I don't know
Maybe
what are they going to do?
Maybe Rusty will finally say sorry for his terrible ways.
He did something. He's like, I want you to go do this. And he slapped me in the face, right? Like, not hard, just like you know, and I just snapped. I just grabbed the whole and started beating on him in the bus, right? And ever since then, people started looking at me different. Like, I was like, not Benji anymore, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, I kind of felt like I was like tougher, you know what I mean?
It was like a turning point for you there?
Yeah, so like I started like acting tough, but like now that I'm older, I can finally say that I knew I wasn't. I was just like, that's how I wanted people to perceive me so they didn't fuck with me, you know? And
you know what's interesting about that? When I had first met you, right, that was always, like, Dorian, may he rest in peace, he always used to say that about you, like, Benji will fuck you up, don't go in there and say some stupid shit, right? And, but what's funny, though, is as I got to know you, which, dude, you're an awesome dude, like, when, down to the core, and, like, when I got to know you, one of the things that always stuck with me about you is you were like, bro, I'm actually afraid to fight. Like, I don't want to do that. Like, it terrifies me. And, like, that's always was interesting to me, right, is because, like, you are that guy that you know, would just rumble with whoever, whenever, da-da-da-da-da. But, like, to hear you say, like, man, I'm actually afraid of that. Like, that always kind of struck me. I was like, man, that's interesting, right? Like, it always stuck with me about you.
Well, I think I was more not only getting punched in the face and beat up, because that sucks.
Absolutely.
But, like,
it does suck.
Being the pussy that got beat up in everybody else's eyes, or being the bitch, or being the fucking, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That scared me more than the actual fight, because I didn't know if I was going to be able to fucking fight, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. And
You think that shaped, and as you're saying, like that shaped a lot of
what
what
people
happened.
thought about me is major in my life. You know, it
Yeah.
fucking attacked my inner whatever. You know?
Ego.
Yeah, the thing that that you think about when you're laying in bed at night. Like that's the huge thing that shaped a lot of my decision making and fucking problems in my life, and like how I was like throughout my teens, like I was just like fighting and like skipping school and going to keg parties, and I just wanted to be like around people that wanted me around, you know what I mean? And like I remember this kid, Brian, he was an older dude, Brian, and this younger kid, Mark, like I would hang out with them, and like he would do shit like choke me out, you know what I mean? And like I still hung around because at least they were there, you know what I
Right,
mean? Like
right.
at least I had somewhere to go and hang out, you know? I was probably 10 or 11 or something then. And I just like, there's so many things that affected me. Like I can look back and be like, I was such a dick to my mom. You know what I mean? And like, she's the one person that's just been a soldier in my life, and she's still there, like till this day, bro. Like I just hugged her before I left. You know, I love my mom. Yeah.
She's an awesome lady.
You know, when we get older, you think about them getting older. You know what I mean? You think about like them passing away and shit, and you think about yourself dying. Like it's fucking real. You know, there's no way to escape it, which is the hardest part.
Right.
People that don't get to, I think consciously, in a self-aware manner, go through grief, I don't think that they get that connection, that like cycle connection to how like life works and ends and creates and things like that. And so when you're able to see it, it's so beautiful to be able to have that self-awareness, but like it's also so terrifying because it's like, who's going to be there for me? Who's going to be there for them? All the things are happening. It's a lot.
It's pretty powerful too, because I know what people want. Like it's just this weird thing that I've always had. Like I can read people very good, you know, and like I think that's why I'm good at like being a barber, because like I'm just like a like someone can sit in my chair and I can talk to them about fucking anything in this world, dude. Like anything, from religion to frickin' monks to like, you know, the mountains, the seas, like fish, whatever, dude. And
Probably
like,
have just as much therapeutic practice as we do.
I mean, you know,
honestly.
and like
I mean, you got a lot of experience too, like throughout the like everything, right?
been there and done that a few times, dude. Like, I mean, I quit counting after 20 rehabs.
Yeah.
You know,
So let's talk a little bit about that, right? Because you found drugs,
I found
teenage
drugs.
years.
He was angry.
Yeah, a lot of build up, and not only that, man. It's I belong,
Yeah.
right?
Huge.
Like I mean, that's why all of us. Like I mean, I found drugs the same way. It was, wow, like a group of people want to hang out with me because I got cocaine. Like let me get more, and then more people want to be around, right? So, take us through that a little bit.
I was always excited to do the next drug. You know, like I've met people that were scared to do drugs. You know, like oh, I don't know if I want to take this acid or not. And fucking, I'd be like, well, give me yours, dude. Like, you know, and I couldn't wait to do acid. I couldn't wait to do coke. I couldn't wait to smoke crack. I couldn't wait. Like, it was just something I wanted to experience. Like,
Right.
and which cocaine and crack became my drug of choice for everybody that's wondering. And like I have this theory about it. Before we move on, like I think that a fear of abandonment and like is why most people have that particular drug as their choice drug. Okay, that's just my theory.
Because it's a friendship drug?
That just warms my heart though to hear you say that, right? Because like I preach that all the time. Is like
Attachment.
there's a couple things in this world that shape addiction, right? One
Correct.
is perception. The other one is the fear of abandonment. And like 19 years of doing this, every addict and alcoholic I meet, we all struggle with a fear of abandonment, the rejection, which all go hand to hand, right?
Right.
And our perception.
Right.
And like, so that's something like I preach all the time. So it makes me happy that you have recognized that. and
But
you see
usually
that.
like the people that we work with, usually they've gotten there because of trauma in their life or something. And you're saying like
Sure.
you can't attribute that to anything. You were just rolling high and fast.
Yeah.
just because.
Well, I mean, no, that's not true, right? Because the trauma of being bullied, of wanting to belong, like, I mean, that's
Kinda shaped-
traumatic,
Well, yeah.
shaped
right?
me.
But
Like,
what
that
I'm saying
shaped you.
is he didn't have anything at home like we're used to
Sure,
talking
sure.
about.
Right. I mean, like, everybody's home has their shit, dude.
Right,
Sure.
right, right.
Everybody's home has their shit. My parents fought, but it wasn't like, my dad was fucking pounding on my mom. It wasn't like that. Of course, I remember some fights because he had cheated on her, and that's why they got a divorce. And I think that probably affected me too, because my dad left, and I remember crying with him.
Okay.
Like he didn't want to leave.
So there was a divorce that happened.
Yeah. So like I said,
That's
we all
enough for
know
a
that
lot
it
of
affects
kids.
us differently, and it probably did. Like I love my dad. Like he was just there today actually visiting me.
Yeah.
So, but like the teenage years, dude, like, I hung out with like Junior and Jake and like his dad. I remember his dad one time had me call the dentist and fucking said I had a fucked up tooth and got like a, test script of 10 Vikes or something. And he took all of them and I was like, wow, dude's cool as fuck, bro. You know what I mean? Like he ate 10. Like, wow, he's crazy.
How old do you think you were?
Oh, 12, 13, 14, something like that. I don't really remember the age, but
He
we
was
used to
like,
smoke weed with him.
Hold my beer, and you were like, that guy's so cool.
Yeah, like, and like, I don't know why I looked up to that. I just, it was just probably like my, where I was at that time in my life.
Yeah.
But I think the first time I, like tripped and experienced that, because that opens the fucking mind. And I remember being like down by the Allegheny River, just like thinking about God and the devil and how the fuck, why is their life period, like just crazy shit like that. And I was like 15, I think, when I took acid the first time. But anyway, cocaine was 16, and I remember like. There was this dude called Fast Eddie, and he had a lisp, and he'd be like, you ever shoot it? And I was like, no, and he did it, and he counted back to 10, and then, by the time you get to 3, you hear the fucking whoa, whoa, whoa. And I remember that right there was like a fucking, like, I remember just falling in madly in love, dude. Like, just madly in love with that fucking, with that train and that feeling, and whoever's listening knows exactly what I'm talking about. And that right there really fucking started ruining my life, man. I remember jonesing, but at the time I didn't know what jonesing was.
Right,
you know what I
right.
mean? I was just like, I want fucking more, and I don't give a fuck how I got it. And I was breaking into houses and like just doing crazy shit. And I've been in and out of juvenile detention centers, Newcastle Max, Hermitage House, George Jr., fucking,
The serious ones.
I was everywhere. Just trying to fit in this whole time, like just being like,
Right.
Like not knowing who the fuck I was and just trying to get people. I remember selling drugs, and I sold like acid, and I sold coke, and eventually I can't sell that shit because I did it all. But like I would
Isn't
sell
that the
this
way it
shit, and I
happens?
didn't sell it for the money per se.
Right.
I sold it because back then my pager would blow up. You know what I mean? Like, I'd be wanted here, and I'd be wanted there, and people would want me to go to the party, and people would buy shit from me, and like, the girls would want me, and like.
For everybody that's listening, a pager
Yeah,
is
pager, like,
this little thing
a
that
little older.
vibrated
Yeah, I'm
when
a little
someone
older.
called you from their
Yeah.
landline.
911, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
My buddy JJ, he had a code, 250, and that code meant 250 because we were getting quarter ounces in fucking Pittsburgh for 250.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's fucking nuts.
So you're going through this, right? So where did the drugs take you, right? Let's go there, right? Because before they took you in and out of the rehabs, right? So they took you in and out of rehabs, obviously, then too, right? And then we hit prison as well too.
Yeah. So,
How long did you go upstate for?
okay, so the first time I went up, it was for 2 years, almost to the day, for aggravated assault on a cop.
How old were you?
21. I was 21, and I was drunk at the time, and they said I attempted to bite him, allegedly. Who knows, dude? I don't really remember any of it. So, yeah, I did prison time, and I really didn't go there and do much other than work out and watch TV and meet drug dealers and ways to make, cheap money or whatever. I didn't do all the wrong things there.
Right.
So I got out, and that's what I did, and I only stayed out for like 5 months, and somebody had overdosed and died, and you know, I may or may not have something to do with that. And so anyway, when they came to arrest me for that, I fought with them again. And also I was doing coke at that time, so my worst cocaine fear came true. I opened the door and they were actually there.
Right.
You know what I mean? Instead of the voices. So that was fucking nuts. And
Was it the shadow people?
yeah, it wasn't. It was really the shadow people that
Yeah,
came with guns and shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, I went to jail and I did 5.5 years after that. I did 5.5, and then I got out in 2007. And I went back periodically because I couldn't stay fucking clean.
Right.
Like I wanted to be like a perfect example was working out. Okay, when I'd work out, I worked out for every fucking buddy else, dude. Never for my health, never for my fucking, you know, just to look good or feel good. It was for the women. It was for the dudes being like, damn, dude, you're fucking ripped or whatever. You know what I mean? It was never for anything else other than like to get shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? Super selfish. Like even like as a kid, I remember being selfish. I remember this lady had keys in her car, right? And I fucking took the keys out and hid them under some rocks at the Votech. I was young enough to be riding a Huffy, so whatever that is, it was like 7 or 8, right? And she came up to me. She's like, "Honey, did you see any keys anywhere?" I'm like, "No, but I'll look for them." The whole fucking, an addict will fucking steal your shit and help
Honestly.
you look for it. I did it when I was like 7, cuz. So,
Training.
yeah. So I found her keys miraculously, and she
Right where you left them.
Yeah, she gave me a $10 check. Okay?
Stop.
So this was like, I don't know, 1985. So $10 check. I was like, yes. Showed my mom and lied the whole time. She probably still believes that shit happened. But that's the training. That's when they say, you've always, what is it? Like you've always like been a scumbag since you were a kid,
More or
basically.
less.
So yeah, so like I would sell drugs to like get people to like me. I would do drugs because like that's where I felt at home the most. And it's funny because my mom, there's 2 sayings that have stuck with me in my fucking life, dude. The first one is my mom. She's like, "Why do you do what you do?" I was like, "Mom, it feels better than anything I've ever felt in my life." She's like, "Don't you think there's something wrong with that?" And I was like, holy fuck, that is crazy that's the best thing that has ever felt to me in all this world, dude. With all the places you could go, all the things you could see, your children, everything. Like, that's the best thing that's ever felt. And that stuck with me very big. And there's a saying from Confucius. He says, a man lives 2 lives. The second one only begins when he realizes he only has one. And
I know that one.
Yeah,
I know that line very well.
One of my favorite ones.
Yeah.
That really rocked my world, because like I've had periodic times of clean. I've had periodic times of, like we were talking earlier, shooting puddle water. I've had those ups and downs my entire life, and I'd get clean, and I'd go back, get clean, go back, get clean, go back, torturing myself, dude. Torturing myself and everybody that I loved and loved me around me. Torturing them.
Did you know that you were affecting people around you, though? Like, did you have an idea?
The only time I cared is when the curtain closed, dude.
Right.
That's the fucking problem that I had. Like, I knew this, and like I said, when Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, when I put it in me, all that, like, give a fuck about anybody around me goes out the window.
Sure.
And it got faster every time. First it'd be slow. First I'd be like, I can't do this because such and such is counting on me. I love who, and blah, blah, blah. And then, like, towards the end of my addiction, like, it would just go quick. Like, fuck it, I'm going to get high. I don't care who the fuck, I'm murder.
Right.
And, so I think,
what do you think the turning point was?
so like we're talking about self-awareness. So like I've always been hyper self-aware. Like I know a lot of the reasons why I do the things I do, more so now than then. But I even knew it then, it just wasn't as apparent. You know what I mean? I think a turning point was like, I had my ex, her and I had the addict relationship. Like I was violent with her, and we would fight, and like it was like we'd love each other, and then we'd fight, and then and it was just I feel so bad for some of the things that happened, and
Very, I hate you, don't leave me.
yeah, very, for like 5 years straight, and finally I think her and I breaking up was probably the biggest turning point, like because like it was we were just addicted to each other as we were the drugs, like for real.
Amen.
Sure.
You know, and you met her.
Mhm,
You met her. And, but when we did good together, it was good. But whatever, that's over now. And I think for her as well, possibly, I don't know, I haven't spoken with her, but I'm sure that she feels the same way. And that was probably the biggest turning point. And Nicole, my wife, is in my life, and we had a baby. And unfortunately, when I couldn't be with my first son because me and his mom just didn't get along. And I love Cameron, but like, you know, I don't have the relationship that I have with my baby. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I wasn't with him his whole growing up and seeing him as a baby and holding him and watching him come out of her vagina, which I couldn't stop crying at that shit. Like, that shit really fucked with me, you know, in a good way. It wasn't bad.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, and what the craziest part is, I was going out to my Cadillac and smoking crack while she was in there, you know? Like, I couldn't fucking stop. I couldn't fucking stop, dude. And I got a big settlement. 150 G's, dude, I got. And that took me to places I had a never-ending supply of cocaine.
Right.
And it took me to a place that I've never been with that drug. And
It took longer for the curtain to close.
yeah, and you know, it didn't last long, about 4 months. But it took that relationship that I talked about. It took that to places that it should have never went to, you know. And so anyway, my baby, I think my son, he saved my life, Mason, without even him knowing it. I think the fear of embarrassment of him seeing me like that, because I get down and dirty crackhead, like search through garbage, like bad, you know, and I know this, like, and I have a super fear of embarrassment of him seeing me like that. I have, you know, so I went to jail she had put a robbery case on me, which was totally not true, right? It got dismissed, okay?
Your
But
current wife, after she had the baby and you were...
No.
Oh, okay.
Like, I was going back in between, I would cheat on one with the other and then one with the other for like 3 or 4 years. I was doing this.
Oh, yikes, okay.
And they're mortal enemies. But,
no, you
know,
think?
yeah, but, so, you know, and I loved them both, but I love them both in a different way. And like, you know, I know that I have a very immature, like, hypersexual fucking, you know, just like Dr. Jekyll part, right? And Sierra filled that, okay? And I have a nurturing, loving, caring, and want to do well side too. And Nicole fills that, okay? And so I'm going back in between these two women being that person, you know, and trying to mix them both, and it just wasn't fucking working. And there were just some horrible fights, and just like, I went to jail
It's
for
very
this run.
chaos.
Yeah, it's
A lot of
super chaos, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I feel so horrible, but you know, I can't do anything about that shit. So what happened is I went to jail, and this shit never happens to anybody. It never happens to me. I've seen it happen to other people. So I go to jail. Boom, they got me on a detainer for a DUI that I am on probation. So I'm on a detainer in Lawrence County. And they fucked up the paperwork somehow. I don't know. I don't even understand it. Right? They fucked up the paperwork somehow. And I was on bail. They gave me unsecured bail because they knew I had a detainer. So they're like, oh, we'll just give him unsecured bail because we, you know, he's detained. So I go up to Lawrence County, and they messed up the paperwork somewhere, and had to let me out legally, right? And like, I'm sitting there, I'm like, the judge, the lawyer, the DA's even like, it's your lucky day. Like, I don't remember what they said, but like, they fucked up the paperwork somehow. They put a bench warrant in, and then rescinded it on accident, and then tried to put another one in on
Had the
accident.
wrong timing,
Yeah,
had the
like,
wrong
some
signature.
shit,
I've
like,
seen this
all
stuff
that weird
happen. Yeah.
shit.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
like, I'm like, oh, am I getting out? So I turn around, you know, I'm in big orange fucking jumpsuit, and the probation lady's there, like, oh, we don't know what they're talking about. You got a detainer. So I'm like, oh, fuck. So I go back upstairs, and a week goes by, and they're like, Harris, pack your shit. And I'm like, stop fucking with me, dude. And they're like, I don't know what the hell's going on. Just pack your shit. That's what was calling told me. So I was like, I started screaming. I'm like, yeah, motherfucker, yeah. You know, I'm like, I'm getting the fuck out. And I got out. And my wife came and got me. And I sat down I put my knees up. And I'm like, this is fucking crazy. Like, I've seen this happen to other people. But it's never happened to me. Like, and, you know, I've got fucking 12 years in prison, dude. So I sit up and I just put my knees up and I'm just smelling the air and I'm looking at the trees and I'm like looking at the little ants on the fucking ground and I'm like, it's from that day I haven't smoked a cigarette, you know, I haven't fucking touched a fucking drug. I started having like anxiety issues, I think from all the fucking, you know, like it's crazy. Like, so from that day I just like, I don't want to be that dude anymore. Like, it's Dr. Jekyll's got to die, man, because you know, if not, I'm going to die. You know, I kind of think I realized a lot of my mortality, too, because, like, doing all that coke, like, it put me in the hospital once. Like, I was fucking...
Yeah, you didn't look good. I saw you during that time
frame. Spun the fuck up, dude. Spun out, dude. And, you know, I kind of realized my own mortality a lot. And, you know, I look around, you know, I judge people, because we judge people, like, silently or whatever.
Sometimes
and, like,
not so silently.
I don't want to be a lot of people. I don't want to lose my teeth. I don't want to fucking be skinny. I don't want to have no fucking, you know, veins. I don't want to fuck my parents to die and me just be alone in prison. And, like, I don't want to be that, you know? And I don't want to let this little dude down. Like, you know, he doesn't know the fucking harm, the craziness of this world. Like, he just sees me as daddy. That's all he sees me, you know?
Just an innocent little baby.
Yeah, and he doesn't see me as this fucking crackhead, as this fucking, you know, asshole and, you know, woman beater or whatever the fuck I've been throughout my whole fucking diseased fucking career, dude.
Right.
Like, he doesn't see that, and I want to stay that way. You know, and so that was probably the biggest turning point, me getting out of jail that way. And like I said, I'm so self-aware of like why I do what I do that it fucking, you know, it's been so easy to not use this time. And I don't go to meetings anymore. Not that I fucking like would disregard them to anybody. If someone came for help, I would definitely say rehab meetings. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
But for me, I went there and would just try to fuck bitches, dude. And that's what the fuck I would do. And like, and I knew this about me. Even if I had a girlfriend, like I would just seek that attention so fucking much. Even indiscreetly or discreetly or openly, like however, like, and like I wouldn't use it. I'd be like, oh yeah, I got 3.5 months clean, and you know what I mean? And like, but that shit doesn't mean anything, dude, because I was still fucking thinking like a scumbag.
Right.
I was still doing scumbag things.
I agree with you. We had one episode where we talk about that. I don't know if we aired it yet, actually.
I wish you had a tissue, bro. I really need to blow my nose.
I know, she's been yelling at me about getting a box of tissues.
Excuse me.
We could cut stuff out. We could
we're good.
It's all right.
But we've been talking
and,
about that, though. Like,
yeah.
Unfortunately, like, AA and NA is not for everybody, right? And I agree with you.
And it doesn't have to be forever.
And I agree with you 100%, right? Is like, I have seen where I'm sitting in the meetings like, fuck you guys doing? Like, what are you doing? Like, this has nothing to do with the recovery. Like, you were in here and chasing this girl doing that. And I've been guilty of that myself too, right?
Yeah, bro.
And like, you know, I personally nowadays I like the smart recovery avenue, right? I like that, but I agree with you. I think AA and NA sometimes it's almost like a pissing contest anymore.
Ugh.
Like I've noticed
It's gotten real weird.
It's gotten real weird. Like I'll go in there and people will be like, so and so's got this much time clean. I'm like, I don't give a fuck.
Right.
Like, and they'll be like, well, so and so's doing this. I'm like,
if it's not you, don't talk about it.
I don't care. Let's talk about how we stop using drugs and alcohol. Like, how do we change our life so we don't have to do all this crazy shit, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of out of anger and resentment. It's kind of how we birthed this.
Yeah.
It was like, dude, like, there's other ways. There's ways that, like, you can just stop being a scumbag by doing what you're saying, man. Becoming, and that's what the steps teach too. Is like to be self-aware.
I've done the 12 steps.
Absolutely.
I still talk
every
to my
day
sponsor.
sometimes.
Like, you know, it's just my buddy. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
He actually called me the other day. Like, fucking blew all his money gambling. Like he went down to zero like we do with drugs.
That's right.
With fucking his phone, dude. You know what I mean? And, you know.
Happens.
That's a conspiracy theory we're going to save for a different day.
You know,
I love conspiracy theories. Gambling on your phone and then marketing to the general public on social media is fucked.
Well, he was
don't
like 600
care.
in the hole, cuz,
Yeah,
so he went down, you know.
First thousand's free. Welcome. Nope. Wrong.
Well,
We'll
I don't
get
know.
to that
I've never
conspiracy
gambled, only with
theory.
my life. I only gamble with my life.
Yeah.
Not with any real cash or
Right.
things that don't
Right.
die. Just me
Oh.
personally.
But yeah, I mean, that gambling is an addiction.
Yeah.
Like anything else, like
The
crack.
12 steps, if you utilize them how they're supposed to be fucking utilized, bro, you could be a magical fucking person. I'm not trying to say
Honestly.
anything about it, like bad, you know what I mean? I just said, for
Yeah.
me, I had to become like a normal human, okay? I had to go to work,
Right.
come home, be a daddy, go to sleep, get up. That's just fucking what life is, dude. I had to accept that shit. You know, I get cool shit like fucking come here and talk about it.
Yeah.
If you don't know Tyler for years, I just met you, but
Yeah, that's okay.
But you know, so like I just had to be like okay with that, dude. Like, and it took a long fucking time to be okay with
Do you
just that.
think? Do you think you just accepted yourself? You finally just
Yeah,
said,
like
"I love
like
myself."
Nicole loves me for just me. When I'm goofy as fuck singing, or when my ass stinks, you know what I mean? Like whatever. Like she has been there, dude, and like you know. So I think it's just like a relief.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like.
And Nicole's an awesome chick. Like
Dude,
she's awesome. Like I love Nicole. She cracks me up.
I can't believe the human being she is sometimes. You know?
Yeah.
Especially the mom.
Yeah.
Shout out to my wife. But you know, so like. With that, you know, I just calmed down. I think, like my soul calmed down. You know, so I'm not a religious fucking dude. I'm not.
Yeah, me
Like,
neither.
I don't pray. I don't. You know, my meditation maybe is just like shutting off the radio to work. You know, on the way to work or something like that. I still, my thoughts still go 1,000 times. You know, a million miles an hour in my head. I don't think that's ever gonna change, dude. You know, I just don't use drugs, dude. I can't, like, because I know. You know, I let a lot of people down. Like, I have things, like, not material things. Like, I have trust. I have fucking responsibilities. I have people that fucking can like, call me and, like, guarantee that I'll be there for things, you know? And, like,
You have community.
yeah, you know, and I have, like, an abundance of, like, respect without being tough, without being the dude with drugs, without being fucking, you know, the dude that steals from his mom, you know.
I'd rather see you with a pair of scissors in your hands. I
Yeah.
tell people all the time, listen, you ain't never had a haircut
Yeah.
until you get until you sit in his chair.
And,
Back
you know,
in my stomping grounds, too.
Like-
my hometown.
Men
Bethel
and women.
Barbershop, Bethel Barbershop.
Yeah, men and women you cut too.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
that was
so-
the thing that was impressive.
No,
like
that
you're
was
a
in
beast.
prison. I got that in prison. And I did that because, like, I wanted something to do. I didn't know if I was going to be good at it. You know,
Sure.
I just wanted maybe for parole.
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Like, I
looks
just
good
wanted
on
to
paper.
have all this shit. Like, let me out, please, sir. You know? And, you know, they did. So, but anyway, that change, that's a big fucking, it's been a curse and a help, like, you know.
Yeah.
Like I've you know, fast money is bad for an addict, you know.
Right.
But I'm using it for the forces of good now. You know, I'm the force of good inside.
You got a little TikTok going with it.
You know, I'm trying to post haircuts. My son Cameron's like really good with like computers, you know. So I'm like helping him. I'm like, buddy, show me how to do this, and he did it all on my phone. Like I'm like trying to like write this shit down what he's doing, but like I'm not good at it, you know. But I'm trying. I'm not good. I don't have a great phone and camera. Like I don't care what my shoes look like anymore. Like
That's right.
You know, I don't want to be a dirt ball or anything, but like I'm not like when we were going to meetings, like I'd be worried about like, you know, I don't want to wear this wrinkled shirt. Like,
Right.
you know, white tee, nah, it's got a stain right here. I can't wear it.
My shoes
Like,
don't match my belt, don't match
yeah,
my
like,
flat cap. Like, stop.
You know, so I just pushed all that shit away. Realized that I'm just gonna grow old with this woman. She's pregnant again, so we're having another
Oh,
boy.
congratulations.
You know, and like,
Do we know it's a boy for sure?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they have
He
this,
clearly only
this,
makes
They have
boys.
this thing. It's called sneak peek, right?
Yeah.
I paid like $70, and she pricked her finger like at 9 weeks old and sent it away, and they'll let you know what it is, and it's like 99% accurate.
Yeah. You're gonna be that 1%, and they're gonna say you got a
I
daughter,
would love to have a daughter.
and
You know,
your
that's what I wanna-
whole world is gonna
And
change.
like, and another thing, I have a daughter. Like, you know, in Canonsburg, like I have a whole daughter that I lost parental rights to. I went to court and everything, and like they just tore me out of the frame from my past, you know,
right?
And you know, basically took her from me.
I have kids that I've lost, and they live in Bethel Park.
Yeah, so she looks more like me than I do, bro. Like she's my fucking stunt double, dude.
Yeah.
My daughter
like,
as well.
And I'm hoping one day that she does, you know, want to see me, but I'm not going to be the dude that I want to. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
Like I've had my phone out, like the message wrote
That's right.
to her mom a few times, dude.
Right.
Like I'm just scared of rejection in that aspect. I think. So
Are you on a 101?
What's that mean?
Is it an adoption 101?
Yeah, her husband adopted her.
Yeah.
So, like,
how old is she now?
Oh, like 7. See, like when
okay,
they
so
were
you
on
got
the
a
court, they were
while.
asked. So me and her had gotten into a fight, and she punched me in the face, stumbled me even, dude. I was like, Jesus Christ. And so
Did you deserve it?
yes.
Okay.
So I was like not letting her leave. I was like, no, we're fucking talking about this. You know what I mean? Because like I would be the type of person like. I would be like, whatever I did, whether it was fucking throwing something, most of the time it's like breaking shit. You know what I mean? I'd be like, fuck this, or flip a
hate
table.
that too, yeah.
And I'd be like, please forgive me.
That's me.
As soon as it was done. You know what I mean? Please forgive me. And I think that was happened a lot in my home. Like growing up, I think subconsciously that's like a genetic marker or some shit in my life that like I want to do something and I want to be like, fucking forgive me. And it still happens. Like me and Nicole get along 98% of the time, but there's always those days that I'm mad or she's just shitty, especially when she's pregnant.
It is really shitty when we're pregnant.
You know, so I try to be
give
like
them
self-aware of her shit too. You know, like she's in recovery. She has 5 years, bro.
Yeah.
And she's like a fucking loving and caring person. She works in recovery in Washington. She helps people get whatever they need, whether it's recovery.
Washington's rough, too.
I hope when you go home, you tell her that I would like her to come too, right?
Yeah.
Because she got a good story
Yeah.
too. Like she went through the ringer, went
Yeah.
homeless down
Yeah.
there, like
With him.
yeah. Well, no, she did like some wild shit too. Like
Yeah.
Nicole's wild. She a wild
I'm
one.
excited
right?
to hear from her.
She's
in the name.
But she definitely has changed her life
Yeah.
dramatically, and she's definitely a huge 90% of my puzzle piece, you know. And I have a family, I think, which is crazy, you know. Like I have my own family now, like with my name, you know. She's my wife. I have, you know, my son. She's pregnant again. We have a fucking house, bro. I got a garage, cuz. I got a barber shop at my house, you know? Like, and those are things that I don't want to lose. That kind of, you know, even though it's material shit that I've never gave a fuck about before, you know? I've lost shit and started over 10 times probably,
Yeah.
you know?
Right.
And like that shit never meant nothing. I was like, I don't care about this couch, you know? I bought a sectional and I just love it, dude. Like I paid money for it, you know?
Right. It means more now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's just,
Like you have a new
it's-
appreciation.
Yeah, it's just like, you know, I don't. What you know? I think the core down to the very fucking core of my soul is like I don't want to die alone. You know, and I was pushing that. I was making that a fucking thing, and that's like a huge fear. Being
Self-fulfilling prophecies.
alone, you know, and that's not the main reason why I got married, but I think a lot of us, whether it's consciously or subconsciously, don't want to fucking die alone. Who would?
Yeah.
I mean, even though we do die alone in a bed, whatever, of course, dude. But like, you know, who's going to be around me in my deathbed? That's who the fuck matters, dude. Nobody else really matters. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Absolutely.
And they're all a part of my world. They're all a fucking part of the string theory, bro. They're all part of the fucking, you know, action and reactions and ripple effects.
I do a
It's
lot of
all
string
there,
theory
dude.
too.
It's all there, bro.
Yeah.
You know,
I have
And,
a string tattoo.
Like I'm definitely not a fucking religious person, but we're all connected.
We're
in some
spiritual
way.
beings.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's a whole nother fucking story. But like,
Absolutely.
But like, I think when it comes down to self-awareness, I think that I know that I didn't want to be alone, and I knew that everything that I was doing
Was repelling humans.
was making it that way. You
Yeah.
know? I'd have been like, you know, remember that dude that I said it took all the fucking pills?
Yeah.
Well, he died in a fucking mental hospital of AIDS, dude. And the son that I was hanging out with overdosed just getting out of prison.
Yeah, I know.
Wasn't even out of prison 4 hours. Those are the people that I hung out and thought were cool, you know? And I'm not saying anything bad about them. I'm just saying, like,
Could have been
I
you.
did not want to be that, dude.
Yeah.
And even when it happened to this day, like, I'm so, like, calloused from people dying that, excuse me, that whenever someone dies, I'm just like, oh,
Yeah,
You know,
I feel
before,
that.
like when
Same.
it first started happening, I'm like, oh my God, I couldn't believe, like my buddy Don Taylor, and I could say his name because like he was my best friend. He was the dude that you can call on the phone and then just feel like, you know, you never missed a beat with him. Like I wouldn't see him
Right.
for a year and we just talked for an hour, you know, and like he overdosed and died, and that one kind of hit me harder than all the other ones, like, you know, because
There's always those few.
yeah, you know, and like Dorian,
Yeah, that
You
hit
know?
me real hard.
and like he was my best friend for a long time, and but anyway, those people were dying around me, and like I've been in hospital with major infections from shooting up, you know, panic attacks.
You don't
like,
get treated nice though, like when you go there too. So I
No.
mean, it's a whole nother experience to go into the hospital
Yeah.
and experience things, and then
Yeah.
try to get right. And
The whole time I was saying, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry because I didn't want them to look at me like that. I didn't want to be a
Right.
fucking flea off of the balls, you know. I didn't, and like nobody sees me that way, you know. And I've made my life good, man. People I work with are fucking awesome, dude. You know, they don't know the depths of the shit that I've done, but like, they're good people, dude. That's another thing that was huge for me. Like I would go to jobs and I would pretend like I wasn't an addict. You know, not that I wouldn't be like, you know, I would just be somebody that I wasn't.
Right.
And it would fuck me up because they'd be like, you know, you want to go to the bar. And, you know, I don't know about you guys, but as soon as I get a few beers in me, I want to smoke crack, dude. Or I want to snort coke, or just what I want to do.
yeah.
And, you know, so I had to be open and honest with these guys, and they know, you know, and I literally work and I go straight home. And like I just shower and, you know, bathe my son or whatever, and
Have a healthy routine.
I play my fucking PlayStation, and you know I go to sleep.
You have a relationship with your older son?
Yeah, and he was there today. He's actually, I hugged him before I left because he might not be there when I get back. But I try to see him as much as possible. Cameron has a high functioning autism, and the way he you know, I don't know the word I'm thinking about, but like his affection is different than everybody else's.
Yeah,
Right,
absolutely.
You know what I mean? And that's been like, I struggle for things to talk to him about because like he's just, you know, he's just who he is. And you know, I love him, and he's a giant kid. He's 6'2",
I know, I saw a
250.
picture of him.
How old is he?
He's 15.
15?
Yeah.
I saw a
he's
picture of
giant
him. I
kid.
was like, Jesus, because
Yeah.
I remember when he was little. Like we'd
Yeah.
go pick him up, and he'd just be
Yeah.
a little kid. I was like, Jesus.
I have a 10-year-old that has autism,
Yeah.
level 2, and it's been that's probably been one of the hardest things through my sobriety, is not wanting to kill everybody in his name, you know, trying to get him the things that he needs, but
It's
he just
different.
connects so differently, right? Because a lot of people don't understand that with autism, there's that environmental disconnection, and with the environmental disconnection, it's almost like it's like just being an alien, you know, and they don't feel like they're the same humans as we are, and so like I always want to hug and kiss Dean, and
he doesn't.
it's like Velcro on his skin, right?
Yeah.
But if I play Fortnite with him for an hour and we win a crown, then I'm the coolest mom ever, you know? And I'm like, that's right.
Kind of same thing. Because you know, when I hug Cameron, I hug him hard. You know,
Yeah.
he just like, you know,
Yeah.
he doesn't.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm an affectionate father. Like I kiss my son, I hold him. You know what I mean? Like I'm a real affectionate father. I'm not the same as my dad. My dad was like, he's a hillbilly dude. So like I saw him today, and I love my dad. Nothing bad to say about him, but the way he raised me was more absent than most fathers. Like he was just like, you know, pick your fucking self up. Let's go.
Right.
You-
Well, that's
oh,
the
it
old
hurts you.
school.
Stop
That's
doing
the
it. You know what I mean?
culture.
That's that old
That's just
school,
how he
like
is.
Yeah.
that old school. Whoa, you got a broken bone? Pull it up with a string. Let's go. We got
Like,
things to
my,
do.
My patience. I've been working on my patience lately because, like, you know, he's about to be 3 in July, and he hits the patience part. You know.
Oh yeah, that's a rough
And-
age.
And like, I don't want to be mean, obviously, but sometimes I'm hard on him, dude, and like I have to step back, dude, because like I don't, you know, I want to be that way, and so that's what I've been working.
That's
on.
good self-awareness, right? Because
Honestly.
like that's hard to navigate through. Like, and it's cool that you recognize that, because like it's hard to recognize like when just that feeling of like, what the, you know what I mean? Like that first initial reaction, and then like being able to step back and be like, Jesus, man, I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that, and like that's So that's the most interesting thing, and we get a lot of people that talk to us about that, where they're like, I don't want to do that anymore. And I'm like, I know. Like, I know you don't. Like, so now that we know we don't want to do it, how can we fix it, right? And even myself, there's things in my life what I don't want to do, which, like you said, I still have the, like, I'll get mad, I want to kick over the table, you know what I mean? So it's like stepping back and being like, well, wait a minute, like,
Discipline is my hardest topic.
Yeah.
not kicking a table today.
He shit in the shower the other day, right?
The 3-year-old.
At least there's
Yeah.
at least there's a
They're gonna
He's
do
drain.
like,
that
Daddy,
1,000
I
times.
poop. And I'm like, what do you mean you pooped? And I opened the shower. Because, we only have a shower, so I shower
That's cute,
with
though.
him.
It's
So
so
I open the shower and there's turds in it, dude. And I'm like, Mom!
Sounds like a mom thing.
Get down here, Nicole.
But she's great, dude. So,
Yeah.
But like that, it's just an example of it, because it pissed me off. But I can't be mad at a baby,
Right, for
And,
doing
like,
For
baby
pooping
stuff.
in a bathroom. That's
but,
where you're
but,
supposed
like,
to
that's
poop.
a challenge for me because
Right.
like I've went to anger my entire life, dude.
Yeah.
Like that's been like my fucking relief, my fucking save all.
It's a drug.
And,
Honestly.
Like I don't know about you, but like even with myself, like anger feels good, right? Like it's embarrassing, right? Because like I hate it after the fact, but like while you're in anger, just that adrenaline, like anger really is a drug because it releases the endorphins and like it feels good. It makes like the way your body feels and like da 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 da.
Did you choose fire as a child?
I did. I actually burned
funny.
down the whole set of woods.
My
there.
self-awareness is with anger. It gives me control.
Yeah.
So that's a huge thing that I've been trying to let go of things, because like say if I don't want to be bothered, I'd be like, I'll just slam my fist on it, leave me the fuck alone, and boom, that solves the problem when I don't want to be. And then like 10 minutes later when I don't want to be left alone, it's like, I'm sorry, honey, I didn't mean to pound my fist on the table, you know what I mean? I just didn't want to be, sometimes I just don't want to be touched. It's weird, dude.
No,
You know
no,
what I
no.
mean?
Just
I
say
get
that.
it.
That's
I'm,
normal.
I'm the
Just
same
say
way.
that. Yeah.
I'm the same way.
Same.
Like there's certain times like even friends and stuff, they'll be like, hey man, I'll be like, listen, I'm not trying to be rude. I just don't want to shake your hand. Like I'm not trying to be rude. I just don't. I'm overstimulated and
Right.
don't want to feel touched right now.
And like expressing that shit's a challenge for me. Like, 'cause, I don't, I still have a problem with how people perceive me. You know what I
Sure.
mean? Like, and like I've gotten so good at undercover manipulation with that shit, dude. Like, I'm so good at like making people believe how I want them to see me, dude. Like,
Well, you
not
were
so-
in training for that nearly your whole life, right?
Not so much today because like I'm just who I am, dude. Like I'm older now, so it's like
Maturity.
I'm out of the loop with everything. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And like, it's easier now, but like with my family, it's like a huge thing because like what do we got? We got the memory of us when we die and how we live while we're here. That's really it, dude.
That's it.
Yeah.
After that is nothing, dude. Unless you're a fucking Pulitzer Prize winner or you got your name on a fucking statue somewhere. Like, that ain't gonna happen with me. Probably not. Maybe. But no. You know what I mean? So
Might get Benny the Barber statues.
I mean, like, that's how I'm gonna be remembered. Like, he was a good barber.
Absolutely.
But like, he died of an overdose and found in a river. But he was a good barber. Like, that shit's fucking scary to me, dude.
Right.
Like,
No, that is-
and like,
right.
we're only here for a fucking speck, dude.
Oh,
for real. We're only here for a
glimpse.
fucking dusting. Dude.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah.
For real.
A blink
And,
of an
like,
eye and we're
and
gone.
like time's just fucking flying, dude. And like I know from all the fucking drugs that I put in me, like vinegar, bro, in my veins, like what the fuck has it really done to me? Like the doctors scare the living fuck out of me, dude. Like I'm
bet.
scared to go, I'm scared for them to be like, hey, listen, man, something's wrong with this
It's a
or that or
rat,
whatever,
yeah.
and now now
My husband also refuses. He's like, but I'm going to go to a doctor and they're going to tell me that I'm broken and dying on the inside, and I know, so I just won't go. And I'm like,
Yeah, I think if I don't know, I feel better.
Yeah.
And then, and I kind of like been struggling with that because like I want to live longer because now I have kids, dude. Now I want to I want to take them. We ride around on my son on the 4-wheeler, dude, and he
Make
puts
memories.
his little hands on the 4-wheeler while I'm going, and I look over and I look at his face, like right here's his face, and he's just got this big fucking smile on his face, and fuck it. it gives me a feeling that cocaine gave me, bro. And it's like, I don't want to lose that, bro. And it's hard for me. It's hard for me because, like, I'm just getting old, bro. And, like, you know, I don't want to lose that little bit of time that we got, that little dust, you know.
Yeah.
I've already blew most of it away, you know.
And this is the first time you're really getting to experience those baby years.
It really is.
Even though you've had those other kids.
Yeah.
And this is like...
He's my little
great
buddy.
for
Like,
you.
he falls asleep with his arm around me, you know what I mean? He does the same thing with his mommy. And, like, I've never felt like something I never wanted to lose before, and I don't want to lose it. It's fucking scary, you know, so I think, yeah, he saved my life without even knowing it. Like, it took me about a year, but I think the guilt and shame and embarrassment of him seeing me that way more than anybody else. You know, obviously my parents and my wife and shit like that, but like it was just, I had to let it go, dude. I had to let it go. Like it was fucking, not only was it killing me physically, I was fucking going nuts, dude. Like I was literally fucking losing my mind, man. And like, I didn't want to be in the mental hospital and dying of AIDS. I didn't want to be fucking overdosing, just getting out of prison. I didn't want to be fucking losing a kidney. I didn't, you know, I don't want to be that fucking guy, dude. And like, even though I thought about this throughout all the years, bro, it took this little fucking baby boy to be like, and I felt the same thing with Cameron when he was little, but he was a different boy, you know. And
You weren't there yet.
I just wasn't, yeah, I was young. I wasn't young, but I did all my 20s in prison. I went in at 29. I got out for 3 months when I was 23, and then I went back for 5.5 years. I
Right.
got out when I was 29.
Do you think you even had the emotional capability of being there for
I had
them?
it like
Yeah.
when I was 14,
Yeah.
13-year-old. Like, I still react like a fucking 12 or 13-year-old sometimes, dude. You know, I'm always going to think like a little boy, I think. I just think I react like an adult now, you know.
Right.
Not all the time.
Makes sense.
But
Yeah.
you know, like I try not to be selfish with things. Like I'm definitely not selfish now. Like 100%. Like I'm very like purposefully not selfish. You know, because sometimes I think like a big thing is like, okay, I have $100. My bill's $90. My mom will pay my bill. With her fucking feelings is like he gets to save that money and put it in savings or whatever.
Right.
You know, so but like my thinking now is like I can't do that to my mom. I have to fucking grow up and pay this goddamn bill.
I remember that.
Yeah.
So,
I remember
like,
that. I remember the first time an adult was like, "You have $50 and your bill is $20. What are you gonna do?" And I'm like, "Well, if I only have $50, I'm not paying a $20 bill."
Yeah.
You know. And now I'm like,
I hate paying bills.
"Yeah, I could."
How many times have you guys said I'm just gonna do a 20?
Oh God.
I lost count.
Yeah, I can't even tell you.
Or how many times I was like, "I'm just gonna go meet this one boy one time."
Yeah.
Yeah. Then 6 days of no one knowing where I am later, and God knows what I've put in my system.
The last time I was arrested for the DUI, I took those pressed Xanax. I blacked out, fell asleep at a red light in my car, sleeping, dude. Don't remember anything. Went to the jail, or went to the police station in Lawrence County. I grabbed the fucking hand sanitizer bottle, unscrewed it, pulled my dick out, pissed in it, and then put the lid back on and set it back on the fucking shelf, right?
In the police station?
Yeah, I was just in the waiting room waiting for my ride because it was just a DUI, you know what I mean? And then they took me to jail and seen my record, and they just charged me with all this fucking nut shit, like aggravated harassment, fucking
of
assault
course.
by prisoner, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Thankfully, they dropped all that, and it was just the DUI. But like, if you Google my name, that comes up. My fucking oldest son did it.
Oh,
Man,
really?
fucking urinates and, you know, I was in a blacked out fucking stupor, don't remember any of it, and that's what the fuck's Google.
Are you kind of happy that those things linger around in your life, though?
No.
No, not at
I
all?
hate it. I mean, don't get me wrong. The memories of it really, you know, light a fire under my ass to not be that person. You know what I mean? But like, I wish that wasn't there. I wish I didn't do that shit.
I think it's good motivation, right? To be
Oh,
able
yeah.
to look back and be like, man, I don't ever want to go back there again.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to do that, right? Man, yeah, I don't know. It warms my heart, though, right? Like, you've come a long way, man. I'm very proud of you for the accomplishment of getting to know yourself.
A lot of people don't know Tyler was my counselor at one time in his life.
At one time, yeah.
He even did a little 3 counseling session with my then girlfriend. Remember that?
Yeah. I didn't like her to begin with because I'm
The
a fan
toxic
of,
one.
Well, no,
Yeah.
well, you know, she's good in her own ways.
She
but
is.
They were both
us
using.
together, yeah,
That's not
us
fair.
together was
Yeah.
not good. You know, when we got together, I was 38 and she was 21. You know,
Yeah.
so like, duh, you know, derp. That was just destined to be fucking, you know. And we were both in homeless shelters. How fucking sexy is that, bro? Like I was in the Erie City, Michigan.
That's what
she was in
happens.
whatever that was.
Right?
This time
Like,
of the
I
year,
talk-
actually, specifically, is when it happens.
It's
Yeah.
crazy because I talk to the
I
guys
think
all
it
the
was
time.
around this time.
I'm telling you, 'tis the
I
season.
get all these guys in rehab and like I'll tell them, I'll be like, bro, like stop. Like
Getting
what,
showered and
what do you
primped up to
what
go
do
to
you
meetings.
yeah, I'm like what do you have
I mean,
to
I
offer?
can't say I haven't done it.
Like you're
Oh, I
gonna
hate those
you're
days,
gonna
man.
sit
So
back
glad
and
they're over.
tell this girl you're gonna go meet this girl. What are you gonna do? Well, if my house manager gives me permission, you could come over tonight. Like,
Stop
no,
it.
man, you ain't got
You
nothing
can't even
to,
buy a pack of
like,
cigarettes for yourself.
yeah,
You've got your
like,
grandmammy
Right.
sending you
But
cigarettes in
that's
this
the
rehab.
power of our
But it
addiction,
feels
man.
good,
is-
though, man, and
It
that's
feels
what I
good.
always
It's
look
for.
that's
I always look
filling
for.
that void.
Well, a lot of people don't realize compulsive behaviors. Like, people just think addiction is addiction, and then they can move on to, like, gambling or sex or this, that, and the
Yeah.
other thing. But you're going to put one compulsion down, and that could be crack, or that could be doom scrolling, or that can be spending too much money on things you don't need. I mean, it could literally be anything, and you will replace it
Yeah.
with the next compulsionary action until you reset your thinking.
You know what fucking really fucks with me sometimes? It's hard for me to realize that, let me think how to word this. Most people don't think how I think.
Oh, that is the hardest thing.
Perception.
Me
You know what I
too.
mean? Like I gotta remember that somebody isn't thinking how I'm thinking about things.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I struggle with that every day.
Same.
You know what I mean? Like opening a door for somebody, for an example. That's just a reaction for me. If I see somebody close to me
Right.
behind me, I open the door.
Sure.
And if someone doesn't do it for me, I'm like, what a fucking douche, man. You know what I mean? Like, I would have done it for you. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? But I've never even seen this person before.
Yeah.
But just, you know, that's just an example. I'm saying, like, it's hard for me not to think how that people think, not how I think.
I get really
Right?
frustrated.
Yeah.
I'm
So
like, how can you
that's-
be so dumb?
That's
And
our
it's like,
perception,
oh, yeah, wait.
right? Like I deal with that a lot. Like,
What's that chain where they say perception, belief, action,
Change.
Change, yeah, that thought chain,
Yeah.
or whatever the fuck
But-
it's called.
Oh.
But that's always the problem I have. Like I know, like I'll have normal people in my life where they'll be telling me something, and I'll be like, "Well, no, like this is what it is," and they'll be like, "No, like you're completely wrong," and I'll be like, "You're right." Like just because I think that way, because I still think like a scumbag sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Oh, same
You know what I mean?
sometimes.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but all right, man. So overall, right? What do you want the people to know overall? What do you want your ultimate message to be?
So like, if anybody else is a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, which I've seen many throughout my years, in prison, in rehabs, you know, in juvenile placements, I think that, you know, if you're self-aware of why you do what you do, like if you realize you're selfish, if you realize like you don't want to be alone, or if you realize you know you're pushing people away that love you, or you know you're only selling drugs because you want to be known, or whatever it is, whatever is hurting you and you know is hurting you, that first has to stop, dude. You know what I mean? Like for me, it was drugs and alcohol. Those were the obvious common denominator.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then the next fraction was women. I had to stop fucking womanizing. You know, and I had to stop. You know, my ego had to go away. Like, I don't think my ego is gone, but I think it's just happy with where it's at right now. Do you understand?
That makes
I think
sense.
I think I'm just cool, dude. And like, not that I don't want to be better or anything like that, but like I'm married, I have a family, I have a house, I have a yard that I fucking mowed the other day with a mower that I bought. You know what I'm saying?
That's the American
And, like,
dream, right?
And you know, whatever the
That's
American
big.
dream is, as you perceive it, like I'm calm now. Like I don't have fucking, I'm not chasing anything.
You're not trying to impress
being
anyone.
chased. Like I'm not, yeah, I have somebody that has seen me literally like bawling like quite literally like bawling, and I couldn't stop crying because I couldn't stop shooting coke, dude. Like I just couldn't stop. And then even after I stopped crying, I did more. Because I just could not stop.
It's
And
just
she's
really
seen me
real.
there, you know, like she was next. I don't even know how she stayed clean, bro. Like, I've literally had piles of fucking crack, dude. And she would just sit over in the corner, just there, so I wouldn't die. And of course, that's probably sick in her own fucking ways. You know what I mean? Whatever her own thoughts is. But, like, thank God she was there, bro. Because, like, you know, she's my wife now, and I love her, and I have a family. And it's just cool now. Now I have what I never thought I wanted.
That's awesome.
Amen.
You know?
It's a great
That's
message.
Awesome. It's awesome. I'm proud of you, man.
Thanks, bro.
I am.
Yeah,
So, you got anything? You
Keep
wanna end
happy
with?
hour happy.
Keep hour. All right. Well,
Don't make fun of me.
no, it's good, right? So, as always, man, you guys could have been anywhere in the world today. You chose to be here with us for this hour and some minutes. We greatly appreciate you. Like, share, subscribe. We appreciate you even more when you like, share, and subscribe, and keep sharing, and do it some more. You know.
Benny the Barber 412 on Instagram. Follow me.
We'll connect your stuff.
Haircuts.
Yeah, we'll put your links in the
No, I appreciate
description.
it.
Yeah.
I appreciate you asking me, dude.
Oh my God, yeah.
Absolutely.
You know, one thing I had to stop, it was like practicing what I wanted to say. Because, you know, I think you do that. Even when you watch.
Oh,
leads,
yeah.
You know, like you're watching leads and you're like, oh, say whatever you're thinking.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, so I had to stop that, dude. You know,
Well-
I had to turn Janis Joplin up. That's what I was listening to on the way here. I
That's
was
right.
Jamming. You know?
That's what I like about our show is we don't really plan any of this shit. We just
No.
kind of get on and talk and kind of go freestyle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Jada
He makes me
Kiss.
incredibly anxious, and then I skate through the episode.
I like to say we're the Jada Kiss of this shit.
He really does.
Freestyle it.
I'm okay
Yeah.
with that.
All right, man. Well, we appreciate you guys. Keep
Appreciate
watching. Like, share, subscribe. Go get a haircut. Right? Make
Benny
sure
the
to do it.
Barber
That's
412.
Absolutely.
Thank you for watching.